What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you don't miss any of the awesome content we have coming out. And for this video, we're going to be jumping into the Infinite Frontier Suicide Squad, issue number 4. And if you haven't been keeping up with this line, go ahead and check out the link in my description, as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on in this line. Now, this is written by Robbie Thompson. Pencils are Eduardo Peniska. Inks are Julio Ferreira and Joe Pradu. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, as we jump into issue number 4, the Suicide Squad is coming off of their latest mission. Their latest mission was to try to break into Teen Titan Academy and kidnap the speedster known as Bolt. With the help of Red X, they were able to infiltrate the building, but Red X ended up turning on them, and as the Suicide Squad made their escape, they were able to capture the one and only Red X. And so we pick up with Amanda Waller and Peacemaker having a discussion. Because right now, Amanda Waller, she's really happy. She's really happy to have in custody Red X. They may not know his alias, his age, any of his history, and his most recent affiliation has been with the Teen Titans, but now he belongs to Amanda Waller. On the other hand, Peacemaker is not happy about this. He thinks that this kid is just not one of them, and he was never the target. Bolt was the target. He got them into the Titans Tower, only for him to turn on them as soon as they get into the building. So in Peacemaker's eyes, Red X, he belongs in the morgue, not part of the Suicide Squad. But Amanda Waller, she argues that he has Batman-level intellect. And more importantly, Amanda Waller doesn't care what Peacemaker has to say. And this is where she straight zaps him. And we see Peacemaker having electricity course through his body. And she reminds him that when he's on mission, he's in charge. But when he is back here, he is just another inmate under the control of Amanda Waller. But she does acknowledge one thing, that Red X is a fox in a henhouse. But Amanda Waller refuses to be outfoxed. And this is where we see Red X in one of the cells, and he is completely shackled up. We see dozens and dozens of chains wrapping him up. But for some odd reason, he still has his Red X mask on. And it's not for lack of trying, because the Red X, his mask is booby-trapped. And we see Culebra and Talon, they're sitting outside of his cell, just kind of watching him. Now, Culebra, up to this point, she's been kind of the caretaker of Talon as he tries to get his mental capacities back up. Because right now, the only thing he's been continuously saying is who all the time, like a freaking owl. And these two make their way through all of the cells, and coming around the corner, this is when they see Peacemaker. And Peacemaker is being thrown into a cell, only for him to grab these guards and beat the crap out of them. And after he beats them up, he tells Culebra and Talon that they need to meet in the laundry room in 2 minutes. Now this is where Amanda Waller goes up to Red X and has a discussion with him. Because up to this point, every attempt to be able to take his mask off has led one of her men to a near lethal jolt to anybody that touches it. And so up to this point, he has done a fantastic job of being able to hide his identity. But Amanda Waller says it's only a matter of time before they're able to figure it out and get that mask off. Because the reality of it, she really doesn't care who's under the mask. She sees this as another asset, and she has all day long to wait him out and break him. And we see her jolt him with electricity just like she did to Peacemaker. Now in the laundry room, we have the Suicide Squad all gathered here, and Peacemaker letting them know that they have a problem. And that problem is Amanda Waller. You know, Peacemaker, he doesn't mind being lied to, as long as it's in service to the mission at hand. But he really does believe that the last mission was compromised because Amanda Waller took her eyes off of the prize. And he worries that putting them in the field without giving them the truth is putting them all at risk. Thanks to Noctera, they have a prime example of Superboy and Amanda Waller withholding information from them. And so Peacemaker, he really believes that Amanda Waller, she either needs to stand down or she needs to be taken down. Now this whole conversation, Red X is actually hearing it. His comms are in tune with everything in this building. And he asks Amanda Waller, "Do you hear that? That music to my ears." But he lets her know, like, "Oh, I know you can't hear that. You haven't found all of the Bellevue's dead spots yet." And we see another jolt of electricity go through the chains and into his body. And as he's being electrocuted, he tells Amanda Waller, he tells her, "You know why I let you capture me? It's because I wanted to send you a message." And we see this blue electricity change colors. It changes colors, and instead of the electricity going into his body, it turns a red color and starts shooting out. And the message that Red X wanted to send her is that she is no longer in charge. And that burst of electricity that came out of Red X, it short-wired every single cell door in this entire place. And all the prisoners have broken free, and they are going haywire and taking out all of these guards. And we see the alarms going up. All kinds of cell blocks are getting alerts. And Peacemaker, his simple words is, "I knew it." And Peacemaker starts shouting orders, tells Superboy and Noctera to head to the cell blocks. If he wants an opportunity to save people, that's where it's going to begin. And while they're doing that, Culebra and Talon are waiting for Red X to make his appearance, while Peacemaker goes to try to secure Waller. This is when we're taken to Red X, and he punches out of his cell. Punching out of this cell, he punches at nothing but a hologram of Amanda Waller, because she's not actually standing there in front of him, but Red X already knew this. And Red X starts dropping little tidbits of information, because he knows that Peacemaker, he's on to Amanda Waller's little hologram trick. And Red X is having so much fun with this. He's cut her off from everything. She can't even blow the bombs in the necks of all the prisoners, because he was able to cut that offline as well. But Amanda Waller tells him that the backup systems are going to be on momentarily, and that he's not going to be able to make it out of here alive. But Red X has no intentions of leaving, not just yet, because he wants to talk to Amanda Waller face to face. And this is where we see Superboy enter the room, and these two start going at it. Red X dodging everything that Superboy is throwing at him. And Superboy, he's asking, like, "What do you want? What are you doing here?" And Red X tells him, "I just want you to be free. I want to free everybody, but especially you." And he goes on to inform Superboy that Nocturna, she isn't telling him everything, that because there's something definitely wrong with him. And the wrong begins and ends with Amanda Waller. And he's asking, what did she do to me? But Red X tells him that that is his journey. And now that he's got everyone's little frequency tuned into his helmet, he can literally zap them without any problems. And we see Superboy taken off the equation, and Red X makes his way into the duct system. And as he's up in the ducts, the power comes back on. And so we see Talon make his way into the ventilation system. Getting up here, he is immediately met with a foot to the face. And Red X is taunting him as well, telling him that he knows this is all an act. Because Talon is trying to kind of like Section 8 himself out of the Suicide Squad. If Amanda Waller believes that there is no returning Talon to his normal state, then they'll completely remove him from the Suicide Squad altogether. And so Talon has been faking it this entire freaking time. And Talon's just like, "Who the heck are you, kid?" And the Red X tells him that he's just a friend that's got to get going. And this is where we see him kick Talon down out of the vents onto the ground. And as he jumps out of the ventilation, Culebra comes charging at him, and she winds up a punch about to lay it on him, but this is when she gets shocked as well and drops to the ground. So whatever Red X has going on in his helmet, this charge has got the frequency of each individual and knows exactly how much power to be able to take them down, at least to knock them unconscious temporarily, so he can make his escape. And as he makes his way through these corridors, coming up to Amanda Waller's door, he's met by Peacemaker. And Peacemaker is letting him know, if you want to get to Amanda Waller, you're gonna have to go through me. And we see Peacemaker and the Red X going punch for freaking punch. And the whole time they're sitting here fighting, Red X is telling him, we're not very different from one another. You want order, which you see as freedom. I just want true freedom. I want to cut everybody's puppet strings. I want to see everybody set free from the limitations the world puts on them. And right now, Amanda Waller is limiting you in such drastic ways. And the whole time, Peacemaker is getting his butt handed to him. And Peacemaker tells him, like, you talk way too much. But Red X was just lining him up. He was setting him up to put him exactly where he wanted. And we see Red X kick him and throw him through the door of Amanda Waller's office. Busting down this door, his words are, "Ta-da!" And Amanda Waller lets him know, like, I have this entire room lined with wired explosives. And Red X lets her know, don't worry, I already detonated one of them. And we see a giant explosion come blasting out of this building, with an airplane coming and swooping in. And we see Red X jump onto this plane. And with his exit, he tells Amanda Waller, thanks for the sleepover. I hope I didn't break too many of your toys. But also lets her know that he has nothing to do with one of her toys escaping, but that she shouldn't worry because he's sure that that individual isn't going to cause her any problems. That individual being none other than Rick Flag himself. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Personally, after reading this issue, I am a firm believer that the Red X is Tim Drake. There is nobody else that could do exactly what he just did. He took down the entire Suicide Squad, to include Superboy. He outsmarted Amanda Waller. There is nobody else but somebody in the Bat family that could do this. And I fully believe that this individual has to be Tim Drake. There's nobody else that it could be. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you don't miss any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.